It's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. And that's when you feel like a big dope. 'Cause they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, just the claps. It's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Hey, what do you say? What do you know? Tip the veal, try the waitress. How's tricks? How's kids? Some weather we're having. Rubbing elbows, greasing palms, schmoozing, networking. Movers, shakers, trendsetters, go-getters, gypsies, tramps, and thieves. It's the hardest part of the ring. My name is Bob, and we are talking about the February 22nd edition of Monday Night Raw, which, incidentally, is the Bob birthday edition of Raw. They aired this on my birthday. I can't watch it till the day after because I watch it on Hulu, as you already know, with not limited enough commercial interruption. And Hulu's timing did play a factor in today's show. How did you spend your birthday, Bob? It was also my first day at work at a new job. Another new job. 6 weeks ago, I was talking about a new job I had, and now I'm talking about another new job. That's how well it went. No, I wasn't fired. I stopped going. I kept getting hurt. Um, it's going to be an issue later. Since I have two jobs, I'm just not going to one. It's got to come up. It's already coming up. I'm getting emails. Hey, what can I tell you? You can't win them all. But we never had a written agreement. This says the Miz. Alrighty, let's do what happened on the birthday edition of Hulu's. What the hell are we talking about today, Mark and Chris? I don't know. Artist. It's in my head now. I have my own song in my head. I did notice playing back before I continue that there's certain chunks of audio that for some reason get kind of replayed in a weird little loop sometimes. I have no idea how that's happening. I think I'm exporting with just bad quality. That sucks. Sorry. I don't know. I think my goal, my new goal, my original goal for the hardest part of the ring podcast, I wanted to have a more middle of the road, not so much AEW loving, flippy dippy ass kissing type of echo chamber podcast, but at the same time, not all the way with as much as I love Cornette and agree with most of what he says. Most, not all of especially the women's divisions and yada yada yada. I wanted to find a middle of the road, a common ground, and I didn't. I think what I actually did was inadvertently my new goal, because things evolve, is to have the worst wrestling podcast of all time. And I want it to be glorious in how bad the wrestling podcast is. So we're working on it. I have a theme song which I refuse to record. I sing it every time. It gets me going. What's the best way to open up the Bob birthday edition of the February 22nd Monday Night Raw, you ask? February 22nd also being the birth of George Washington, the first U.S. president. How fitting. Not really. What's the best way to open a birthday Bob edition? Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant. I think that's the best way, and they did. So I'm glad they did. And we show a package. You gotta have a package. You gotta be smacked in the face with a package. You gotta have somebody sneaking up behind you at your cubicle, and you feel something on your shoulder, and you look to the left, and it's their huge package. Their huge, throbbing, blue-veined package. In your face at the top of the hour here. I'm an idiot. You know what's funny? I'll just tell you it goes faster that way. They still show, just because they've been doing it for 33 years, but now it has no context, they still show still clips, still pictures of the pay-per-view from the night before on these Monday Night Raws, and it used to be Superstars. You'd wait 6 days till the Saturday and all that primetime wrestling and all that. Everybody on the Monday, yada yada. I say yada yada too much. Sorry. They still show still pictures with the audio commentary playing over it, which was originally done to get you hyped so you'd order the Tuesday night replay. Because if you didn't order the Tuesday night replay of the pay-per-view and you didn't see it on the Sunday or whatever day of the week it was aired on, they weren't all on Sundays, but that came to be the norm after not too long. You'd have to wait 4 or 5 months till it came out on VHS at your local video store. And they've been doing that forever. Let's say it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 6. It's the Saturday after. And you hear Gorilla and Jesse's commentary, but you see just a still picture of Warrior holding both belts in Toronto Skydome, 67,673 people. Okay, that was fine, because that would get you so hyped. The thing is, for the last 7 years, the pay-per-view has been immediately available to be replayed. So there's no point in showing still pictures. But it's just what they've been doing since I would say probably since 87, because that was the first year they had more than one pay-per-view. They had 2 that year, WrestleMania and Survivor Series. And I don't remember the first episodes of Superstars after those events. I started watching full-time in 89, but my memory going back to at least 1989 was that's what you did the first show after a pay-per-view. Scratching my arm if you can hear that. Balloons! John Morrison, The Miz is going to open. He's in a suit. He won a championship. There's fireworks in an empty building. And then Bobby Lashley is in a white suit and he's very upset. And he tells Miz, oh my god, I'm 6.5, 7 minutes into this shit, I haven't said anything. Bobby Lashley tells Miz, you have 1 hour to decide when you're going to give me my my championship opportunity. Okie dokie. Then John Morrison wrestles Riddle for no reason in a non-title match. Riddle does defeat him. Riddle does take a nasty fisherman buster on the apron. It's like a suplex, but your leg is also kind of cradled like Mr. Perfect used to do. Right on the ring apron, which if I never told you before, it's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest. Riddle wins the... Oh, there's a weird layout and commentary for like 10 seconds is a long time, and it's just quiet. I don't know, were they being yelled at on the headset? I don't know, but Riddle does eventually. He catches Morrison going for his turnbuckle flippity-doo-dah maneuver. Riddle goes over 1, 2, 3. Match gets 914 stars. That's how many stars that gets. Then we have a clip of Bad Bunny on SNL, Saturday Night Live. It's a popular show here in America. Imagine, like, what if Monty Python sucked? Like, that's what it is if you don't know. Bad Bunny, it was actually, I thought it was cool. He's growing on me, son of a bitch. He's got the 24/7 championship on SNL, which is amazing because they can't get their world championships on anything other than Raw or SmackDown. They can't do it on Regis anymore because Regis is dead. The Miz is talking to Adam Pearce, and The Miz is upset with him. I forget why. Then there's a commercial for welding in the Hulu edition. I don't know if you need to know this, but it's at the Universal Technical Institute, which is UTI, which is hilarious because that also stands for urinary tract infection. And the guy is bragging about all the benefits he got from UTI, so good for him. I mean, if it works for you. Adam Pearce and Lashley are in the ring. The hour is up 33 minutes into the Hulu edition, which I thought was comical for me, and it makes me wonder what I missed, but not wonder nearly enough to look it up. And probably the men's tag team championship, which I haven't seen in 2021. I don't think on Hulu. Be that as it may, the Miz and Morrison, goddamn, they're back. They are in the ring with Adam Pearce, and then Bobby Lashley's in the ring with MVP, and then Braun Strowman arrives, and he grunts, and Shane McMahon arrives, and he has to stop and acknowledge the computers who won't stop chanting Shane O'Mac very loudly, way louder than the top other stars get. Shane, of course, is condescending to Adam Pearce and condescending and has to cut his balls off. And then Braun says, "This sucks, that sucks, everything sucks." That was the first time I was entertained by Braun Strowman. Or I forgot his nickname. His nickname for this podcast is "Stupid Goddamn Braun Strowman." Stupid Goddamn Braun Strowman says everything sucks, and against my better judgment, I got a chuckle. Uh, Shane said something to Bobby. I don't know if it was important. I hope not. But I guess the thing is, Braun's going to wrestle Bobby, and if Braun defeats Bobby tonight, then it'll be a three-way with the two of those big dudes and Miz next week for the championship. Miz's face was good here, which you don't hear me say that often. But he made he had that, "Hey, this is awesome, it's working out in my favor," to, "Oh shit, I'm going to die" face, and I was entertained by it, I thought it was very good. Then we go backstage to Bad Bunny and Damien Priest. No, we don't go backstage. I think, or do we? I forgot. I just wrote down their names. Apparently that wasn't good enough. But they are here. Bad Bunny is here, and he is the 24/7 championship champion. Then Damien Priest wrestles Angel Garza, and Garza takes his pants off. And then Priest defeats him. Samoa Joe let us know that with Angel Garza, when Garza takes his pants off, that's what he means, serious business. So thank you for letting me know that's what serious means. Garza and Bad Bunny have an argument. Bad Bunny's good at this because he's a fan. This is why he's growing. It shows he's a fan because he knew how not to look too tough against Garza. He would jaw jack with him, but he knows to hide behind Priest, and he knows to do the point, to turn around like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make the guy who wrestles here all the time look stupid, but I'm gonna turn around and point and be like, you worry about place good guy here," which is Damien Priest. And Priest hits a finishing maneuver, which is called "Hit the Lights." I found out his Cody Rhodes like wacky face drop thing. If you don't know, "Hit the Lights" is a Metallica song from their 1982 album, Kill 'Em All. 82, 80. When was Ride the Lightning? 84? Okay, close enough. The one where the Megadeth guy, Dave Mustaine, wrote a bunch of the songs when they kicked him out of the band. That one. It's got a bloody axe or something on a bloody sledgehammer on the cover. This is not important right now. There's a package that says Rhea Ripley's going to show up soon. And, not get impregnated by Hall of Famers, I hope. Then they recap Alexa and Randy because there was no payoff at the Elimination Chamber. And then Randy gets a curse placed on him by Papa Shango and spits out black ooze. And the announcers did the somber voice. They did the somber voice for Randy Orton and the black ooze. This is how you know the somber voice is overused. It's supposed to be used once, twice a year when a babyface leaves on a stretcher and a heel goes too far. Not for the black ooze. And on the Hulu edition, I hope this happened in the regular, longer USA 3-hour edition. But in the Hulu edition, they go immediately from black ooze to a recap of Lacey Evans saying she's pregnant and Ric Flair acting like it's his. I hope they did that in real TV. Because on Hulu, it was hilarious. Because normally they have had, even in recent years, enough good sense to go, okay, how are we going to do this here? We can't do Black Ooze pregnancy. We'll do Black Ooze tag team match and then a pregnancy or something. Nope. Ooze, pregnant, put them together. Ugh. Do what you will with that. But speaking of cutting a cord, Charlotte Flair and Rick are going to fight later. I tried, folks. It's not called the hardest part of the segue, alright? Should they do a Randy Orton can't stop coughing thing during a pandemic? Probably not. Who cares? They recap the pregnancy. I want to make note of this. This slid under the radar because it's a SmackDown thing they set on Raw. The announcer, who isn't Michael Cole but sounds like him, said Edge and Roman is the first official match for WrestleMania. The contract is already signed. It's official. Remember this. The announcer on Raw said the contract has been signed between Edge and Roman. The reason I bring this up is because you know they love their contract signings, and if they do one, they have not kept track of their own continuity because they just told us it was already done, so we shouldn't have to watch it. We will anyway. I'm going to bring it up. I can only see SmackDown clips on Hulu and out of order, so I really have like no business calling the show. But I do check up. Really, only on the pay-per-views that I recap here do I get to talk about SmackDown stuff. But it's harder to make fun of. Charlotte and Asuka wrestle Shayna and Nia for 450th time. Oh, I forgot. Priest and Garza gets 7,000 stars. Okay, very good. Asuka was doing some great wrestling. The story here was that Charlotte was out of it. Her focus really wasn't there. And then, this is charming. Of all the times Nia Jax won't let the Dana Brooks and Lanas of the world take their own bump, hurt them, slam the bejesus out of them, Charlotte takes a power bomb from Nia. Maybe a little high, but nothing really worth complaining about. Nice and easy, lets Charlotte take her own bump. Because Charlotte is who she is. She didn't have much problem slamming Asuka around, but Charlotte takes and they should all be taking that same bump that Charlotte took. This is not a knock on Charlotte. This is, from my experience with the Wild Samoan Pro Wrestling Training Center, some of their bigger men were taught to believe that if they were an underneath guy, then they were expendable and it was okay to hurt them. And that's the attitude, or that's what I'm being reminded of when I watch Nia Jax wrestle. Maybe I'm projecting, but that's what I experienced. And paying for it today. Not bitter. Nia didn't. Why did I write this? I don't really know. Oh, Nia didn't hook the leg. So there's an errant kick. Charlotte kicks Asuka. And, okay, we kind of knew that was coming. Nia does a leg drop on Asuka. Fine. She doesn't hook the leg to pin the Raw Women's Champion. I bet she would have hooked. I'll try that again. I bet she would have hooked Charlotte's leg. They don't treat everyone the same. You're not supposed to treat all the wrestlers the same, but in this case, Asuka's the champion. You treat her like one. Charlotte's who Charlotte is. See, Charlotte's protected. Asuka's the champion now. She hasn't been treated like Asuka could be. If Asuka was released in a year, how surprised would you be? Charlotte was released in a year, but there'd be riots in the streets. Probably not. We just tweet about it for a few days. But you know what I'm saying. So Charlotte and Rick go backstage, and they have this great back and forth. It sounded like a mom and fuck me. It sounded like a dad and a daughter fighting. There's a little interrupting, but not too much, so you can't hear what the hell's going on. It didn't sound promo-like. It didn't sound scripted. It sounded like a real family fight. And it did go in circles, and it did repeat itself 2 or 3 times, which real arguments in real life do. And it was left open-ended to the point where we don't even know what they're fighting about. But we wanted to see a resolution, and we saw both sides, more so Rick, of course, kind of maybe start to regret or realize he doesn't believe his own bullshit as much as he used to. It's going somewhere. I hope it's going somewhere. Or maybe it's just trying to get them to reconcile and get out of this shit. AJ Styles wrestles Ricochet. You know, fun back and forth, athletic. AJ Styles wins. I mean, this match was really just designed so that Omos can do like a big bump and give Ricochet a big bump at the end, which he does. 474 stars. Oh, Asuka and Charlotte versus Shayna and Nia Jax. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I gave it 7.4 million stars, okay? I hate the stars. God, I hate that. Don't say it, okay? Braun Strowman, stupid goddamn Braun Strowman wrestles Bobby Lashley in the main event. Of course, Miz has to be in commentary. They have to have him talking as much as possible. This was pretty good. It was short, 6-7 minutes. Big guys doing big stuff. Man, they went with Lashley as dominant. I'm so glad they just put Lashley over Braun clean. Because it's not going to do Lashley any favors to lose to Braun or have a DQ. If you're going to make him dominant, make him dominant. They barely mentioned Drew McIntyre on the show. Drew McIntyre does not arrive. I gotta imagine Drew shows up and just unleashes hell on Lashley and Miz. And that's the only reason Lashley shouldn't be defeating the Miz at the level of dominance they've built up Lashley. Lashley is so impressive. I love the jumping on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, to get away from Braun and have Braun hit the steps. He gave Braun the big titty slam, and then he gives Miz at the end after he pins Braun with a spear, I think. And Lashley had to run the ropes an extra time. Braun was a little out of position, or what you can say. Stupid goddamn Braun Strowman, what does he care? Lashley wins with a spear. That's another guy with a spear. We always talk Edge and Roman. Lashley's with a spear. So Lashley and Goldberg and Edge and Roman, that means you have to have a man bun or be completely bald to the spear. There's no in between. Really happy to see Lashley win this thing and just make it dominant. Try to build a dominant star here. But damn, they book him like the biggest babyface in the world. He's a killer. He's beating everyone clean. He's doing awesome things to him. And even though he's attacking Braun at the end and putting a hurt lock on him, they have Braun acting like a dick, which works for Braun. So why would I care that why would I feel sympathy for Braun? Lashley's the biggest babyface on the show right now. And he's a heel with a heel manager. How'd those work? So that sets up Lashley and Miz for next week. That was the Hulu edition. This was, as far as Hulu Raws go, this is pretty good. I didn't really have a lot of complaints. I did enjoy Lashley jumping on a ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. And I'm excited for next week's Raw. Now, this is one of the few times they rarely do this with Raw. They do this pretty good with NXT still, and there were a few years in 2016, 17 that did a great job with this on SmackDown. They just totally lost it. They end the show making you remember what next week's main event is, and next week's main event is set. There's a good run on SmackDown, like it's 2016-ish, I want to say, where they would say, okay, next week is the main event. It's for the IC Championship. Next week's SmackDown main event is for the Tag Team Championship, or then a Women's Championship, and then a Men's Heavyweight Championship. It was always one of them. And they would say, next week, this is the main event, this championship. You should care about this. And they did this with Miz and Lashley, because even though it's two heels, which again isn't really the most ideal formula, it's not a pay-per-view. It's a special attraction match. It's unique. I'm sure it's not going to go very long. We want to see Miz get killed by whoever it is. Lashley's super dominant. Conspicuously not mentioning Drew means Drew's going to show up, but what's going to happen there? How's this going to affect whatever the hell their Fastlane thing is? I don't know the answer to that. But it'll be interesting. Will be very interesting. Does Lashley beat Miz next week for the thing? I don't know. Might not be a bad idea. It's not just because I'm sick of the Miz. I don't hate the Miz, but I've overdosed on the Miz. Okay. The thing is, he's younger than me. I mean, I don't even think he's 40. I think he's 38, 39 tops. But he's old in TV time. He's been on TV for 13, 14 fucking years straight. We just need a break sometimes. He's got the show on USA, so they're going to keep him on. Because Raw is still probably the highest rated show on the USA Network. I really don't know. That and Law and Order SVU reruns. Which Goldberg sold more on that against Chris Maloney as Detective Stabler than he did for anybody on Raw. In his special episode. I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice. Why am I losing my voice? Because I got clotheslined backwards over the top rope. And I banged my throat on the ring apron, which if you didn't know, it's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. And that's when you feel like a big dope Chris and Mark, 'cause they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, just the claps. It's the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Keep going, hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Happy birthday to me.